Simple Truth brand makes it easy to find better-for-you products that are free from unwanted ingredients. From fresh produce and snacks to household cleaners and more. You won't find artificial ingredients, preservatives, or harsh chemicals in Simple Truth products. So you can fill your fridge and your home with simple, easy-to-understand choices you can feel good about. Just look for the green Simple Truth circle to get the quality items you want, free from the ingredients you don't want. Simple Truth, exclusively at Baker's.
Why wait to earn the degree you deserve? You have the experience, you have the knowledge. Now is the time to get the credit for the work you've done and earn the recognition you deserve by starting your comeback at Purdue Global. It's time to earn a degree you'll be proud of, a degree that employers will respect. It's never too late. Never too late to come back stronger and move forward in your career. Start your comeback today at purdueglobal.edu. Purdue's online university for working adults.
Episode 149, Frugal Meal Planning with Ashtin Cope.
Welcome to the Frugal Friends podcast, where you'll learn to save money, embrace simplicity, and live a richer life. Here are your hosts, Jen and Jill.
Welcome to the Frugal Friends podcast. My name is Jen.
My name is Jill.
And we are talking all things around meal planning today.
Yes, we need this. We all need this.
We know that you are here for it.
And it'll be everything you expect and more.
Yeah, because we've already done the interview, so we know what it entails. And it is chock full of stuff. You're going to want to take like audio notes on your phone. So just don't be scared to pause, take a note. And then Ashtin has a really great resource on her Instagram bio that you're all going to want to download. So, because I'm going to go there after this and download it. Very excited. It's been a long time since we've done a like actual meal planning episode. So we've done episode 16 was like our first foundational meal planning and prep episode. And then we have one of my personal favorites, episode 79.
Yes, I remember.
Do you remember this one, Jill?
I forgot we did that.
The Frugal Friends Food Blog Awards. It was a very unique episode where we didn't go through articles, but we gave awards to several different food blogs.
Different categories.
Like, unbeknownst to them.
We've never done an award show
awards.
since then. It's just...
I feel like we should do that
was
again for some
fun.
other category. So if you have a category that you want us to make up awards for, rather, let us know in the Frugal Friends community on Facebook. And maybe, just maybe, you will get that episode because that was a really fun one. Yeah, that was 79.
Yeah, so I'm excited to hear from Ashtin. She's got a great blog where she talks about meal planning. She does meal planning services. She's got all kinds of resources, and she's sharing some very tangible top tips with us today. So let's get into it.
Hey, Ashtin, welcome to the Frugal Friends podcast. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited.
We are so thrilled to have you on this show, and we imagine we're going to get a ton of listeners because this is a huge pain point for so many people. Part of that is because we have to eat every day, which is a whole other issue in and of itself.
Right.
I won't elaborate on that one, but it's
About how much we eat every day.
Yes.
Let's not reveal that.
It just is, it's a never ending thing that we get constant listeners curious about, even in my social circles. Not that they're that large, hashtag COVID, but this is a thing. What do I do? How do I meal plan? Because it's not just eating every day. It is the meal planning, the shopping, the cooking, the what do I do with leftovers? Anyhow, thanks for coming on and solving all of our problems for us.
Yeah.
So, Ashtin, can you kick us off? Just tell us about yourself. What got you into meal planning? What's the overarching Ashtin story?
Yeah. So I am from Grand Rapids, Michigan. And I was born and raised here, kind of moved around a lot. But the one theme that I have always maintained, regardless of what I'm doing and where I'm living, is that I just literally love budget lifestyle. Whether I'm in a season of not really needing it, but just prioritizing it, or I'm in a season of like, okay, it's, survival of the fittest at this point. I have to live on a budget. I just love it. And so when I got started, my oldest daughter was like 2 months old. I thought I'd be super busy with like the whole mom life thing. And then I realized that newborns literally sleep all day. And so I was super bored. And
it's just watching something exist.
Yeah. And so that's only
months.
Fun for like the first few hours. And then you're like, okay, I really have, and you feel like I need to do something. My creative juices needed to be exercised. So I decided to start a blog. And originally my blog was budget fashion for moms and babies. And then I got like a month into it and realized how much I hate fashion. I love the budget, and like it's kind of that whole like your passion isn't always your mission. And so while I love dressing up my baby, that's not what I'm about. So it was great. I still dressed my baby every day. It was just like I got to pivot, and I ended up moving into budget home renovation. Couple years later, I was actually about 7 months pregnant with my second daughter and renovated our whole house by myself while my husband worked.
Whoa.
And that kind of started picking up momentum until our house was finished and I had no more projects to do. So one night I was sitting at the table on a Sunday evening, like I always did, to plan our meals. And I decided to like do hashtag, real life on Instagram stories. And I just was like, hey guys, I'm planning out my meals for the week. I wonder if you guys would be interested in like seeing what I have planned. And the response was astounding. Mm-hmm. I had never seen a response the way, like with any of the other things I tried my hand at, I never saw like the, yes, please tell us what you're eating. Tell us why, tell us what you're planning, tell us how. And so I'm like, oh, dang, like I didn't realize this was a thing, but this is actually a thing. So I don't want to say I fell into it, but it was something I was always doing that I never realized. It's not something that you walk into a party and you're like, hey guys, want to know what I planned for my meals this week? It's like something that until people see you and it randomly comes up maybe in like a circle of like friends, close friends, mm-hmm. It's not something I realized people needed until they did. Mm-hmm. So I just kind of started sharing it. My passion really lies with low income eating. So that's kind of where I started, is like, here's how to eat on a budget, which, I'm on the perfect podcast to talk about this today. I'm so excited. Yes. And here's how to stick to your plan, because we have now finished January. We are heading into the rest of our year. And most of the time, all of those resolutions end up falling off. And so this is a great way to kind of like get back on track and keep it moving for the rest of the year.
I love that.
So true. I love this story. Who knew we can have you back on the podcast to talk about home renovations and budget fashion?
Yes.
But you're right. It's not, food prep isn't glamorous. It's not something that is immediately going to draw people in, but it does solve a pain point. This is a massive pain point for most people. So yeah, it's not what we want, but it's what we need.
Right.
Yeah. And I love that you shared a bit of your business journey, because I've always said like just having the knowledge of how to do certain online business things is enough. A lot of people get into it and they fail and they think, oh, I'm just not cut out for this. But it could be that you're learning the skills so that you are aware when a good opportunity falls into your lap. If you don't know what to do and how to capitalize on unique opportunities that come your way, you will totally miss gold mines. And so I don't think that any like business endeavor or side hustle endeavor is fruitless. I always think it helps us to be more aware when successful opportunities are presented to us. Because that's so many stories are like, it kind of just fell into my lap. Like I for so long have attributed my success to getting lucky. And I've had to kind of start to reframe that and be like, no, you put in the work So when the luck was like, when a lucky opportunity presented itself, you could capitalize on it.
You were ready.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I hope people take away that from your story as well, because I know we have a lot of people trying to start online businesses or side hustles and stuff. So that is really encouraging, just on a side tangent.
Yeah.
So now you do custom meal planning. What are some of the tips you give a client whose main goal is to reduce their spending on food?
Well, obviously, as a meal planner, my first piece of advice is to have a plan. Don't walk into a grocery store thinking, oh, this sounds good. Or, oh, I think I saw like a Facebook recipe that had this in it. That's where a lot of the overspending and the impulse buying, because we do that with food. We do it with food more than we do it with anything else. And we don't realize we're doing it. We impulse spend on food constantly just because it sounds good or it looks good or we heard about it, in a podcast or whatever. So that would be my first tip. My second tip is do all the prep work way before you actually step foot in the store. So besides having a plan, that also means using keyword-rich search terms. Whether that's through Google or Pinterest, use search terms. Two of my favorites are, they're going to sound really self-explanatory, but I'm going to say them anyways. Budget meal ideas and affordable weeknight meals. And the plethora of ideas that come up, you can get super hyper specific and say budget chicken dinner ideas or, whatever. You can get even more specific with multiple ingredients, recipes with chicken and broccoli. And so that takes me into my third tip, which is narrow down the ingredients that you plan to use for the week and then plan accordingly. So choose like 2 proteins. I'm going to eat this week chicken and fish, or so whatever you want. And then, a few protein and produce, carrots, spinach, broccoli, whatever you want. The point of this is to make sure you're cooking up what you purchase before you purchase more. Because when we purchase on top of things we haven't used, they get buried, they get forgotten, and then they get spoiled and wasted. And wasted food equals wasted money. So this way, we're buying less, which means we are spending less and we're using less, which creates a better impact on the environment as well, because the greenhouse gases produced from wasted food in landfills is much worse than that of anything else that gets thrown away.
Yes. Absolutely. I did a nutrition challenge once, and they said for meal planning to use like 3+3. It was 3 proteins and 3 carbs. And then just plan like all your meals around those. So you make sure you use all of them up. And it's just like really simple. Like I can get behind like math stuff. If you give me an equation, I can get behind that.
Yeah.
Give me numbers. What are the numbers?
3+3? Okay.
That's perfect too for those people who are like, I hate meal planning, because there are people who hate it. I know that I am kind of alone in my love of picking out meals and searching recipes on Pinterest. And so that is so much easier for someone who doesn't love that part of dinner time. They have, just like you said, 3 and 3. So it's like all you have to do is mix and match and come up with a few different ways to cook just the one thing so that you're not swimming in this huge sea of ideas. You've narrowed it down so that it's much easier to choose from the few things that are listed.
Yeah.
These are such good, tangible tips. And you're right, none of it is mind-blowing, but we need these reminders. As you're talking, I'm remembering the times when I did these things, and I remember being shocked at how low my grocery spending was for that week. And then something happens. I don't know. I just get off track and I don't keep doing these things. But this is a tried and true method of prepping and planning beforehand, staying simple. And I even love your simple suggestion of using SEO, like search engine optimization, ways of getting the meals that we want with the food that we have on hand. I will often do that, and I'm sure this is what you're speaking to as well, but if I have just a couple of things in my pantry or in my fridge just to look up, can these things be used together? Yeah, I do have a little bit of chicken and some beans. What do I do? Chicken and beans. What do I do with chicken and beans? It's like, and then sometimes I get to try new things as a result of that. It doesn't necessarily mean that just because we're getting a few things that we can't have variety in our meals.
Exactly.
You mentioned too, Ashtin, just about the food waste and being cognizant of that, because not only is food waste not great for our environment, it's also not great for our budgets. What are some of your go-to ways to reduce that food waste?
Yeah. So again, this isn't like this profound thing I'm about to drop, but the best way is to just know what your most time sensitive ingredients are and then use them first. So pay attention, be really mindful that, these few items need to be kept in plain view in my fridge, in my pantry, because I know that those are going to go bad first. So you're going to plan those meals for the beginning of the week, obviously, because they're not going to keep quite as long as the other items. And that kind of means being a little more organized in your pantry and in your fridge. And at the end of each week, kind of taking inventory of everything that's in there, making sure that those condiments that, you knew were on their last leg kind of need to be shifted forward so that you can use them first. Like I said, the produce that needs to be used first. And then honestly, when in doubt, just freeze it. If it, especially proteins, if you forgot to make that meal, that's okay. Don't beat yourself up about it. We all do that. We all decide that cereal's easier than, that full meal you were going to cook. But just do yourself the favor of freezing it, because not only is that helping your budget, because now you have something to pull out of the freezer later in the week or next week, it's also saving your mental health and your self-confidence, because we all feel that like, oh, dang it, I had to throw that away and that makes me feel really bad. So it really just helps in so many different aspects. If you just toss it in the freezer, then you feel like at least you've accomplished something,
Yes.
Yeah, I stopped trusting myself to use my produce in a timely manner and just started buying frozen vegetables.
Yep.
Like I no longer buy fresh cauliflower or broccoli or corn or rarely anything unless it's like on super sale. Fruit, I'll buy fresh fruit.
Yeah.
But I just buy it frozen already because I can't be trusted.
I feel you.
I know myself.
And that's a tip too that I often forget about. I just this week, frugal fail. I had bought a jar of pesto a while ago, used half of it, loved it, amazing, and then just looked back at it and the jar did say use within 2 weeks of opening. And it's been over 2 months. So I don't, speaking of not trusting yourself, I don't trust myself to know whether or not something's good or bad. And I don't need that stomach ache in my life. But I thought, if I would have just frozen it, opened it, used what I wanted, freeze the rest of the pesto, like it works on most things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does.
So,
And I will tell you, frozen broccoli thrown into the oven and roasted tastes the same as fresh broccoli roasted.
Preach.
Like, don't get it twisted.
Oh, thank you for saying that too, because I tell so many of my clients, I'm like, hey, I put like 4 bags of steamable veggies on your grocery list. I hope that's okay. Just so you know, I've done a lot of research and there's really no nutritional difference. So don't feel bad for tossing it in the microwave. It saves dishes. It saves time.
Yes, preach,
and it saves you from wasting it. So, and plus they're like, what,
Hands up.
$1 for a bag?
I know, they're so cheap and you don't have to chop them. They're already
you.
there.
I can buy
and they're ready.
Like
I
the florets.
dishes.
I don't want to eat the stalks. I just want to eat the tree parts. Leave the stalks out.
I actually just bought broccoli. I think they call it bits or something when it has the stalks in it. It was even cheaper.
Yep.
I won't do it again, but I did get a big bag because I just wanted to see what it was like, because I don't mind the stalks, and it was like too many stalks. It was all stalks.
Yeah.
So
They're trying
I
to
will
pull one over
continue
on
to
you.
buy the florets. Yeah. So just have that tip if you're a broccoli lover. Don't be fooled by the bits.
Yeah.
Real talk by Jen.
Real talk by Jen.
AI might be the most important new computer technology ever. It's storming every industry, and literally billions of dollars are being invested. So, buckle up. The problem is that AI needs a lot of speed and processing power. So, how do you compete without costs spiraling out of control? It's time to upgrade to the next generation of the cloud, Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, or OCI. OCI is a single platform for your infrastructure, database, application development, and AI needs. OCI has 4 to 8 times the bandwidth of other clouds, offers one consistent price instead of variable regional pricing. And of course, nobody does data better than Oracle. So now you can train your AI models at twice the speed and less than half the cost of other clouds. If you want to do more and spend less, like Uber, 8x8, and Databricks Mosaic, take a free test drive of OCI at oracle.com/strategic. That's oracle.com/strategic. oracle.com/strategic.
Simple Truth brand makes it easy to find better for you products that are free from unwanted ingredients. From fresh produce and snacks to household cleaners and more. You won't find artificial ingredients, preservatives, or harsh chemicals in Simple Truth products. So you can fill your fridge and your home with simple, easy-to-understand choices you can feel good about. Just look for the green Simple Truth circle to get the quality items you want, free from the ingredients you don't want. Simple Truth, exclusively at Baker's.
Okay, so for those of us who don't like cooking, like I have revealed so many times of myself, what are some tips that we can use to actually follow through with the meal plan we've created?
Yeah. So I have a lot of clients who either don't love cooking or they are busy career women and their husbands do a lot of the cooking. And so it needs to
I wish
be.
that was my life.
Oh, same.
I wish.
And so these recipes
That
need
sounds
to
so
be
great.
like as no effort as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And so use that actually to your advantage when you're searching. It's okay to have like 3 crock pot meals in 1 week. They make something called a crock pot saver. It's a bag that goes in your crock pot so that you're not having to scrub out your crock pot every day. And it's a lifesaver. It's so helpful. So plan crock pot meals, sheet pan meals. There is a search term that is no effort dinner ideas.
Yes.
And they are like literally dump and go, move on with your day. Let's make this as painless as possible. Also, 10-minute meals, 1-pot dinners. I mean, honestly, I feel like there's almost a better selection for people who hate cooking than there is for people who love cooking, because these are so simple and so few ingredients, so little time, that it's honestly sometimes quicker to make these than to order takeout and have it delivered. So, and it's way cheaper.
Yeah, that's been an unfortunate reality for me. Sometimes I'm just like, I don't feel like cooking. Let's just order in. And then I'm like, that's going to be at least 45 minutes away versus I could cook this and we'd be eating in 20 minutes. Darn. But my money's happy. My money's certainly happy. Oh, yeah. I think you're just even providing such great search terms. It's almost like from the influencer's perspective, what are the hashtags you typically put on things? There you go. That's what you search and that's how you find it.
Yeah. And I would encourage people, don't just look at the first page of Google. There are hundreds of pages of Google for each search term. So maybe 1 week you're looking on page 1 and next week you look on page 2 and then 3. There's an endless, like Google is endless. Google is
so
everywhere.
Good. I love that.
Ashtin, I'm curious. This isn't a question that we previously talked about, but how much time does it take you to meal plan? Because that is a whole other thing. We talk about how long it takes to cook food. Now that you're a pro, what are you finding?
So I love this question because it's something that I pride myself in very much. I've actually gotten it down to like 20 to 30 minutes a week to plan the meals. And then the way that I organize my grocery list, I can be in and out of a huge chain grocery store in like 30 minutes. That includes checkout time.
Wow.
Yeah.
We're all jealous.
Right. I'm jealous. So
I'm jealous.
I
am beautiful, aren't I?
Yeah.
That is amazing. I have been doing this for a while and I love meal planning, but it always takes me about an hour and I feel pretty proficient at it. But man, that sounds lovely. Like, what do you do to get it that quick?
So the first thing I do, I have an actual monthly calendar template and I go through an empty calendar for the month before I plan anything. And I'll put a protein in every single day. So, and I change them up. And then typically I like consistency. So we typically do something around tacos or something on Tuesday, because hashtag Taco Tuesday is my favorite day of the week.
Always.
Mondays, I usually do like a meatless Monday. So that's already solution right there. I already know I'm going to cook something with no meat that day. And then Fridays, it's going to be something kind of like celebratory, whether that is like homemade pizza or like loaded fries or something super easy that you can throw together. That's like, I want to call it like bar food, since there's no, happy hours anymore. So something really tasty that like everybody can be really excited about, that doesn't take a whole lot of effort. So really the 2 days that I'm trying to get a little more creative are Wednesday, Thursday. Thursday is our busy day. So that's going to be a crock pot meal or a sheet pan recipe, something like that, because I know I need as little time invested into it as possible. And then Wednesday I get a little creative, and I usually will go off of something that I use called family favorites. And I keep a notes list in my phone in the notes section of every time someone in my family or just me has liked a meal that I've made. And I'll write it down. And then I usually will pull from that, because it's hump day. And if people have, something to look forward to, they're more likely to eat those other 2 meals before they get to that favorite. And then you're getting people to like complain less and be a little more adventurous. And so it's kind of just like a little algorithm I've created for my own meals, but it's so easy to follow that it's like, I'm not spending all this time searching and searching. It's a little bit easier because I've narrowed it way down.
Oh, I'm so glad we dug into this question, because I think having a framework like that, I mean, just as humans, we do well with structure and routine. Some of us like to be more rigid than others. And so for those who want more variety, you're still giving a structure to implement variety, but at least it takes a lot of the decision making out of it, just to have, like you're saying, a meatless Monday. That's not saying what exactly you're going to eat. It's just going to be based around vegetables. Creative Wednesday, easy Thursday. Whew, I can get on board with that one.
Right?
I love that phrase, a structure to implement variety. Because, we do all love consistency. Just some people love variety more than others. And some people are a little more rigid. And that when you give a structure for either or, that's really great.
Yeah.
Speaking of structure and something that's really great and easy and quick.
Oh, yes.
The Bill of the Week.
That's right. It's time for the best minute of your entire week. Maybe a baby was born and his name is William. Maybe you paid off your mortgage. Maybe your car died and you're happy to not have to pay that bill anymore. Duck bills, Buffalo Bills, Bill Clinton. This is the Bill of the Week.
All right, Ashtin, now that we've yelled at you, we'd love to invite you to share your favorite bill of the current week. And I know you have one for us.
I do. So I mentioned earlier, I am from Grand Rapids, Michigan. So it is frigid where I am at right now. And the apartment that I am in is electric heat and electric everything. So that is like number one selling point on most Midwesterners is natural gas heat when you're trying to look for a home. I did not have that luxury, but I have the luxury of lowering my bill of the week. And that is my electric bill. I had my landlord kindly stopped over and gave me the fancy tape that goes around all the windows to help insulate.
Yes.
And my lovely mom helped me sew some blackout curtains for all of my windows. And already I have been able to turn the heat down in my house because it's finally staying and it's not leaving. So I'm pretty excited about it. Hashtag adulting. I'm very proud of my curtains and my window tape.
That's amazing.
I'm taping up the
made it
windows
into a
and I'm putting
cave.
up the blackout curtains.
Basically, hibernation mode is in full swing.
Yes. I can't see the sun, but I'm saving money.
Exactly.
Do you know how much you've saved, or is that yet to be determined?
I will have to see, but
Okay.
the energy company does tell me. So I will be sure to DM you guys and share
Yes,
my
please
electric
do.
bill win
Yes.
when I find out.
That's amazing. It does help. That stuff you put on the windows, it minimizes drafts insanely. Well, if you want to submit your bill of the week, if it has to do with making a cave out of your apartment or anything else related to a
If
bill.
you are Batman.
Yes. Visit frugalfriendspodcast.com/bill. Leave us your bill. We're excited to hear it. What you got for us?
Simple Truth brand makes it easy to find better for you products that are free from unwanted ingredients. From fresh produce and snacks to household cleaners and more. You won't find artificial ingredients, preservatives, or harsh chemicals in Simple Truth products. So you can fill your fridge and your home with simple, easy-to-understand choices you can feel good about. Just look for the green Simple Truth circle to get the quality items you want, free from the ingredients you don't want. Simple Truth, exclusively at Baker's.
Hi, I'm Martine Hackett, and I'm hosting the second season of Untold Stories, Life with a Severe Autoimmune Condition, a production from Ruby Studio in partnership with Argenix, sharing real stories of MG, CIDP, and other autoimmune conditions. We hope to share inspiration and educate the larger community about these severe and often overlooked conditions.
I can't fix this. I can't cure this. And, I'll take my treatment day by day, but I want to try to be engaged, be involved, or be as helpful as I feel I can with the limitations I have of working full time to children. So I participate in market research to provide information to hopefully benefit others, because it's a small margin of people that have the myasthenia, but then to get pregnant, it's an even more narrow margin. And you can't ever have too much information as an epidemiologist.
Yeah, exactly right. Listen to Untold Stories, Life with a Severe Autoimmune Condition on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
And now it's time for the lightning round.
Pew, pew, pew. All right. So for today's lightning round, we are going to share our current favorite freezer meals because I've already given myself away. I love the freezer and it is my go-to. But I love making freezer meals because they are truly dump and go. And I can prepare some of them in advance. And on a day where I'm just I can pull one out, defrost it all day, or just defrost it in the microwave for a few minutes. And then it's ready for my pressure cooker. So, Ashtin,
Yes.
I would love for you to go first. What is your fave right now?
So my fave falls somewhere between Meatless Monday and Taco Tuesday. It is a sweet potato black bean soup.
Ooh.
That is so good. It's so easy too. And one thing that a lot of experts will say is regular white potatoes do not freeze well. They absorb moisture. It's not pretty. It's not tasty. But sweet potatoes are a lot creamier. And so if you make a soup base out of a sweet potato, then you don't have the dairy issue, and it's already creamy and it freezes beautifully. And I will heat that up in my crock pot all day and then serve it with cheese quesadillas as the side.
Whoa.
It's amazing. So good.
Black bean soup is on my meal plan this week.
Oh, good. Good choice.
Yes, I love it.
You got me at cheese quesadilla.
I do love a good quesadilla.
Also, thanks for the tip about white potatoes. Also, freezer meals don't always work for me because or at least these one pot meals, because my husband doesn't like soup. Love him to death.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of great qualities. He just really doesn't like soup. So that takes away a lot of the really easy meals.
Yeah.
However, if I can serve a soup with bread or any other type of accompaniment, it does, make it more palatable.
Yeah,
So this soup idea with a cheese quesadilla,
Oh my
I'm on
gosh.
board.
Good.
Yeah.
Hopefully Eric's
Good.
on board.
Travis doesn't really like soup either. He'll eat it, but he doesn't like it.
Yeah, maybe it's just I want to chew something.
That's my husband walks in and he
drink it.
says, okay, this is the soup course. And I'm like, this is not a soup course. This is your meal. This is
This
it.
is a soup
dinner.
meal. Soup night. This is
There's
soup night.
meat in here. You can chew the meat.
Yeah.
I don't want it to be wet. He doesn't really talk that way, but for these purposes.
He can't control what's said on the podcast. Yeah, he can. That's a lie.
Yeah. So for me, if you've been listening to this podcast for a while, this is going to be the same go-to I typically talk about as it relates to my freezer. Got this one from my mama. Shout out to Brenda. I really enjoy finding, well, I don't enjoy this, but it helps me, finding an afternoon where I can cook up a bunch of breaded chicken cutlets, and I'll just make a whole ton of them and freeze them. And then I can pull them out and use them in a variety of ways. That's usually what takes me the most time, is cooking my protein. So being able to pull it out and use it in chicken parmesan or throw it on a salad or you name it, however you want to use breaded cooked chicken cutlets. That's my go-to. I usually have a handful of them in the freezer. And also, I recently got a really nice blender. I'm like pretty obsessed with my blender. So having frozen fruit in the fridge has been awesome, because I know that typically when we talk about meal planning, we're talking about dinners, but I also have to eat breakfast and lunch. I don't know about the rest of you, but I usually eat more than one meal a day. And so having frozen fruit that I can throw into a smoothie for a quick breakfast in the morning is my go-to non-dinner idea.
Yes.
I love it.
And Eric doesn't eat leftovers, so you kind of have to plan for breakfast and lunch too.
Well, and the blender has helped incredibly with reducing food waste for me. If I've got a bunch of lettuce or really any other vegetable that's about to go bad, I'm just like, well, here you go. Throw it in a blender with some of my frozen fruit.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
I don't.
It's fun over here at the Sirianni
I
house.
think I'll think twice before I accept your next smoothie.
It's vegetables. It's good for you, Jen. Trust me.
Okay. So mine, I have two. First is this jambalaya that I love. I had it at some kind of New Orleans restaurant at Universal Studios, and I loved it. And so it was a vegetarian jambalaya, and I added some chicken to it. So I just used frozen chicken, like chicken breast. And so freeze that all up together and then throw it in the pressure cooker with some stock and rice, and then it cooks all together, and the rice is perfect at the end. It does do better when it's like defrosted for 24 hours versus going in like totally frozen, just because the rice doesn't take that long to cook. But if you're using brown rice, like, go to town. My other one that I've been super into is Indian food. Right now I'm loving Indian food. So chicken tikka masala, that's a big one, or any curry. So doing that with the frozen chicken. And if I'm doing a freezer meal, I don't buy fresh meat. I buy frozen meat, because why would I spend the extra money to get fresh meat? But I did just switch up. I have been buying chicken breasts, but I just bought a 5-pound bag of chicken tenderloins because they're smaller. So they will cook faster in the Instant Pot, and they'll be easier to like cut up when eating them. So I just switched from breasts to tenderloins, and I put those in my freezer meals and then just throw them in. And for the Indian food, I make the rice separately. But yeah, those are kind of my favorites.
Ooh, Jen, check you out with some tips. I'm making notes for my own self. I see those cooked chicken breasts, and I'm always like, I don't know, what am I going to do with it?
Well,
I always
raw
just
chicken,
think like,
it's just frozen. Yeah.
Yeah. And
It's great.
why not? If you're just going to be putting it in like a casserole type dish,
Absolutely.
save yourself time.
Yeah, it's great. Sometimes I'll buy like a big 10-pound bag of frozen chicken and just make like 5 freezer meals with it. Like, it's great.
So good.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Ashtin, for coming and sharing your great wisdom with us. It's been a while since we've done a meal planning episode, so I hope that everyone got a refreshed memory, or if you weren't with us when we did our last episodes on meal planning, welcome to the Meal Plan Army. Where can we and our listeners find more about you and what you do?
Yeah, so my website is ashtincope.com. That's ASHTINCOPE.com. I am at Ashtin Cope on Instagram. If you find me on Instagram and head to the link in my bio, I actually have an ultimate guide to meal search terms. Freebie.
Ooh, that is what everyone needs.
Yes.
Everyone needs that.
It's clickable, so you don't even have to copy and paste. It will literally take you straight into your Pinterest app and search it for you when you click each one.
Oh my gosh, I'm
it's
getting
awesome. I technically made it for myself and thought I would share the wealth. So here it is.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, so that's where you can find me.
Sweet Ashtin, thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I've loved talking with you girls.
Thank you. It makes me excited to cook.
Yes.
That'll last for a day, but I appreciate the motivation.
That's all right. That's all right.
Oh, how fun and amazing and helpful and motivating that interview was. I feel as though, yes, it's providing benefit to our listeners, but I also just feel like I did that for myself. I needed that interview and conversation with Ashtin.
I was hoping she would tell me some of her, like a list of her search terms for Google. And when she's like, I have a whole list, you can go to my Instagram and get it. And I was like, yes, thank you. That's what I wanted.
I'm about to go do that right now. Yeah. And super fun. So my goodness, enjoyed that. Hope you all enjoyed that. Thank you for listening. We also want to thank you for your kind reviews on iTunes and Stitcher. Like this one. It's short and sweet. It's the okie dokie emoji with 5 stars from Kirby V. Just literally says, love the podcast.
That's all you have to say. The greatest gift you can give us is just doing something like that. Random emoji, love the podcast, send.
5 stars. Amazing.
5 stars.
Kirby.
Don't forget those stars.
Thank you.
As many stars as possible.
Thank you for your gift. Thank you for your short and sweet message.
Absolutely. And thank you for our friends who share these episodes on social media. We see you. And so when you share the latest episode and tag us on Facebook or Instagram, then we add you to our monthly drawing. For every 5 tags and reviews we get each month, we give away a copy of the Frugal Friends workbook.
So keep leaving us those reviews on iTunes or Stitcher. Send us the screenshot to frugalfriendspodcast@gmail.com. Also tag us on social. All of these methods enter you into our monthly drawing.
Yes, and we will see you back here, same time, same place, same phone next week.
Bye.
Frugal Friends is produced by Eric Siriani.
So, Jen, what are you cooking tonight?
I don't remember. It's on my fridge. What are you cooking tonight?
It's still up in the air. As soon as I get off this, I think I'm going to pull chicken out of the freezer. And then I have some leftovers from a restaurant the other day that had like some extra sauce. It's like gnocchi and sauce. And I think I'm just going to throw in some chicken into that sauce from my leftovers.
You are great at repurposing leftovers.
It has been a fun challenge, and I've found that I enjoy that.
You are really good at it.
As long as I have something to work with, I'm getting better at figuring out what I can do with it.
I know that I have tomorrow is black bean soup, but I can't for the life of me remember what tonight is. Last night was cheeseburger, like a cheeseburger mac and cheese.
Nice.
Yeah, it was so comforting. Like
That
it was
sounds
just
like it.
very much comfort food.
Yeah.
And definitely not healthy at all. We're trying to eat healthier without like cutting out all sugar because the doctor actually told Travis not to do any more sugar detoxes because he works nights. I don't know what that means, but
Interesting.
yeah. He said his body needs the sugar. So now Travis is like, gotta eat sugar. Oh, wow.
I'm sure we're going to get lots of
No, it's not like that.
responses from people saying, that's not true.
Right. Yeah. I'm sure she did not mean added sugar. She just meant don't do any crazy detoxes. So, yeah, that's about it. And after he said that, I brought home a cannoli.
You're like, I got you, boo.
I got you, boo. I got him one and me one because,
Right.
you know, they're nice together.
You need to be on the same journey as him, ultimately.
Ultimately, and we'll get there together. Yeah.
Well done.
Simple Truth brand makes it easy to find better for you products that are free from unwanted ingredients. From fresh produce and snacks to household cleaners and more. You won't find artificial ingredients, preservatives, or harsh chemicals in Simple Truth products. So you can fill your fridge and your home with simple, easy-to-understand choices you can feel good about. Just look for the green Simple Truth circle to get the quality items you want, free from the ingredients you don't want. Simple Truth, exclusively at Baker's.
Bring home Napoleon,
Destiny has brought me here.
the action epic from acclaimed director Ridley Scott.
What is your name?
Napoleon. You are the greatest leader in the history of the world.
Witness the rise
You are nothing without me.
of the legend. Starring Academy Award winner Joaquin Phoenix and Vanessa Kirby.
I'm the first to admit when I make a mistake. I simply never do.
Napoleon. Buy or rent on digital now. Rated R.